Now, don't get scared. The beginning of this Gemara, actually, the beginning and the end a little bit is tough. In the middle, there's a lot of chizuk. And a lot of it is very, very strong chizuk for where we're holding. You'll see, Mamish, the whole Corona thing is all wrapped up into this Gemara. It's amazing. So it says that women are in danger, apparently, when they are, as we'll soon see, b'shas leidasam, when they're giving birth. So but they die if they had 3 averis. So I'll show you in a minute. Reb Moshe Zatzal, in an amazing tshuva in Yehudah Chelik Bais, talks about this. How could it be? Leida is a mitzvah for a woman. Leida is a wonderful thing, and it's a kiyum of fruah revu. So how could it be a bad time for a woman? So we'll see. Rabbi says a beautiful, tremendous chiddush over here. So he says it la halacha, but it's a tremendous hashkaf also. So I'll show averis noshim meses b'shas leidas, and I'll show you in his heroes because they weren't careful. Benida chala b'chala v'adlakas haner. So nida is obviously hilchus nida. Chala is that they weren't careful; they should have taken off chala properly, and adlakas haner. So it's interesting that the Mefarshim point out each of the other ones is just one word, nida, chala. So it should have said ner. So why does it say hadlakas haner? So this one's on us, Rabbi say, on the men, that since men are supposed to prepare the neiris, so and if not, sometimes we give it over to to our children, Baruch Hashem, but it's our chiyuv to prepare the neiris. So what's a woman's chiyuv? Only the hadlakas haner. That's what the achronim write. So now the Gemara asks, "Nida my time." So why is it that nida? I didn't forget about Reb Moshe. I just want to learn the Gemara first. So nida my time. So why is a woman, when she's in the middle of having a baby, why is she chayiv then for something that she did about nidus? So Rabbi Bitna. So she was mekalkal. That means she ruined something that's in the middle of her womb. That means blood. So she gets punished by the same area, which is the womb. So Gemara says, "Tainich nida." So that makes sense for nida. But chalav adlokas haner ma'ikol ameim. What does that have to do? That makes sense. Nida for nida. Nida and blood goes together. But chalav adlokas haner. What does that have to do with a woman giving birth? Gemara says, "Cedarhurst ogli lola leder Rav Chisda." A certain one of the Amoraim from the Galil was learning by Rav Chisda. He said like this: "Amar Hakadosh Baruch Hu Ravi is dam nosati b'chemel is kedam his harti eschem." So the Mefarshim say a very interesting thing, that all a person needs, Rashi, the last Rashi in the Amid, chaye adam tuluyim ba, the revi'as dam that we all have in our body. So that's what the whole adam is talui. In other words, if we don't have that dam, the person chas v'shalom dies. So this is mamish a pliya, because a revi'as dam, we're talking about a revi'as, there's a certain measure. Now we're all going to be all involved with a revi'as, just like tomorrow night, Meretz Hashem, but for a good reason, for the for the revi'as that we have to drink for every one of the Arba Kaisis. So how much is that? So Reb Moshe, this is not the Reb Moshe I'm going to quote, but what Reb Moshe holds is 3 ounces, 2.9 ounces. So that's all the blood that we have in our bodies. So Mefarshim to discuss this, I'll be the knowledge of modern medicine, but even with that, there's a lot of rayas that we have more blood in our body. But it turns out that Chazal seem to hold that the ikar blood is 3 ounces and no more. We obviously have a lot more blood, but there's 3 ounces that count to save our lives. So what does it mean over the last line before we go to Lamed Bais? So I gave you a revi'as dam to keep your life intact, and I warned you about iskei dam. That means that seems to be dam nida. So now, what about chala and hadlakas haner? So reishis karasi eschem. So what's reishis karasi eschem? The first Rashi. I'm going to add to the first Rashi. So there's a pasuk that says, if you have the the what's it called, Torah or Hashalem. So the pasuk is Kodesh Yisrael Hashem Reishis Tevuasai. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "You're my Reishis." So you're my Reishis. Aliske Reishis Isati Eschem. So that has to do with the taking of challah, because Rashi says Reishis Arisei Seichem. And by the way, my Rebbe in the beginning of the Pachad Yitzchak on Purim of all places, so he points out that Amalek is also called a Reishis. Reishis Goyim Amalek. So, all good things, but sometimes all bad things are called a Reishis. So anyway, Reishis Karasi Eschem Aliske Reishis Isati Eschem. And I warned you by challah to take off challah, and therefore you're called Reishis, and if you don't do the Reishis properly, you're going to be punished. Neshama shenasati b'chem, and the neshama kruya ner, aliske ner is arti eschem. So your neshama is called a ner Hashem nishmas adam, and I warned you about iske ner. So therefore we have like this. What do we put together with all this? If you keep all these things, fine. Bin lav hareni noitlis nishmas sechem rachman al son. Baruch Hu takes back our souls. Now the Gemara says, so first of all, why is this only women? This would seem to be halachas that maybe not nida, but nida obviously a man is also involved. He has to make sure that his wife is keeping the halachas of nida, and a man also has the halachas of nida to avoid. So why childbirth? So the Gemara says Amarava. Now we're going to see a bunch of what's called like Milida Alma, folk wisdom. So the Chachamim in the Chassidish Svarim Al Pi Kabbalah, they learn all sorts of reasonings into this that has nothing to do with the direct thing that the village people said. The first one is Amarava. People say Nafal Turah, Nafal Turah when the ox falls down, Chadad l'Sakina. So start sharpening the knife. So what does this mean? Pashup Pshat is that it's hard to wrestle. Today they have, all these different ways to get a big ox, either, they used to call it shchita tluya, a hanging shchita, where they don't have to wrestle the ox down. They pull him up by his hind legs. Today, I think it's against the law in many places of PETA. So they don't have a shchita tluya. I saw it already many years ago, but there's very few places you could see it. So, but normally, how do you shecht an ox or a big steer on the ground? So once he already falls down, so it's easier to shecht him, because the main thing is, the hardest thing is to get him down on the ground. So over here also, the pshat is, as we'll soon see, that once a person is down, that means that they're in a time of sakana. This is very, very important now, that when a person is in a time of sakana, so then up in Shemaim, they're already judging them, and it's easy for the Malach HaMavis, or Rachman al-Islam, the Satan, whatever it is, to take the knife. Abaya says, so it's different. Each one of them has a different one of these sayings that people say. Tapish Teirus, Amsu b'chad makun lahavi. So when the maid, and this when it says maid over a terrorist, Amsa is a woman, but it seems that this could be a man also. When she starts to rebel, so b'chad michadra, with one hit of the stick, so all will be punished. So what does this mean? So first of all, we're going to have this in the Chad Gadja. Mamish tomorrow night, Mitzvah Hashem, right? If we're awake, Mitzvah Hashem this year, we should be rested. So v'asa chutra, right? So at the end of the Chad Gadya, Rabbi say, I hope we're going to say v'asa the shoichet v'shochet l'malach hamaves Bais Hashem Yisbarach. It's a very, very important thing to try to remember. The end of the Haggadah, we're going to shech the malach hamaves, and with that, everybody's going to have try to have the kavanah that the malach hamaves that brought about all these terrible things is going to be shechted himself, and we'll have him Hashem. We'll have a respite from the malach hamaves. But
there's a lot of Torah on the Chagad, like everyone neglects it, but
no, it's tremendous stuff.
The end
yeah, tremendous stuff. So over here, what it means is like this, is that when the women are in danger, why are they in danger? What did she do? Because she caused, as we'll soon see in a couple of minutes, she caused the chait of Adam Rishon. Now, of course, we can't, beg off like that it was all her fault. In fact, some of Farshim say that was Adam's sin, which makes it all of our sins. When Adam said, The woman you gave me, he nosnali, she gave it to me. So Rashi says, kan kafui b'teiva. If you look up that Rashi Bereshis, Rashi says, "Cause I gave you a woman, and she's supposed to help you, Eza Kenegdai, and you should have said thank you. Instead, you're blaming me for giving you a wife. So take some responsibility. So, but over here we see that a woman over here, she's going to be punished at the moment that she is in danger for the avera that she did, her cheluk of the avera of the Eitzadas. Rav Chisda says, Shavke l'Ravya. So if you have a Rav's a guy that's a shikker. He drinks a lot. So the minaf shinofel. Don't, if you, let's say you're having a fight with him or you don't like the guy, don't bother pushing him down because he's going to fall down by himself. So that means over here also a person that did averis, they're going to fall down anyway, and then they're going to catch it from the Malach HaMavis. Maruk v'amar, a different one of these statements. Raya chigra, when the shepherd is he's faltering. That means he can't walk well. He's a person that limps. So v'ize rihaton, and the goats are running, but even though they're running, so abav chutra mili. So if they're running and they're inside the corral, so va'abei dari chushbina. So at the door of the corral and at the door of the the pen, or you can call it like the barn. So there's still going to be judgment. So what does that mean? So even though the shepherd is not so strong, he's not able to run very well because he's basically a cripple. He's limping. But if all the lemelach, they're inside the corral, so they're going to catch it anyway. They're going to get their musar and they're going to get their final judgment. So the same thing is by us, Leoleno. This is a reminder to us that even though we think that there's not such perfect judgment in the world, but there is, Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to take it out on those that deserve it. Rav Papa Amar, Abav Chanvosa Nefishi Achim Arachmi. He says like this: when there's a door to the store and there's a lot of good people, brothers, and there's friends, so then you find that everybody likes the guy, but above bizyoina. But if a guy that's all the way down, like he's suffering bizyoina, so he doesn't have brothers and he doesn't have friends. So I just want to give you, I didn't see this in Mefarshim, but this is in the Megillah. You mentioned the Vilna Goyen, or you're talking about the Pshatim and Chad Gadjus. I said the Vilna Goyen says this is a Vilna Goyen. Vilna Goyen, the Gross says that by the it's kimat like open Chazal. When Haman first started to tell his his family, all of his great things, that he's such a powerful guy. So it says he came and he told his Ishtay Ubanov. He told his family. But then afterwards, when he got caught by Achashverosh, trying to do something to Esther, and then he got all the junk was thrown on him, the garbage, etc., etc. So then they're not called his friends anymore; they're called his chachamim. So the Gra explains, based upon Chazal, that all of a sudden when somebody's down, everybody's a chacham. And that's what we have over here. There's no friends and there's no family. So this is to tell us that at the end of the day, all we have is our ma'asim tovim. All we have is our Torah. So now the Gemara says, "V'gavri hechem evdeki." So good. So we just learned that a woman is tested. The bedika means over here, it's not really even a pun because women do bedikas, but it means the testing on a woman. When is she tested? When she is loyaleno, she's vulnerable when she is having a baby. So Amar Reish Lakish said, So the question was, what about a man? When is a man tested? In other words, the test for a woman is that if she didn't have virus, so she's vulnerable up in Shemaim, they're going to test her when she's already on the birthing stool, she's already in danger. We're going to learn Reb Moshe in a minute. So when a man is crossing a bridge, in the old days, a bridge was like these pictures of the bridge, like it's a bridge that's very, very faltering. It's mamish like it's a string bridge. It's a kol kolo geshet sarmoi type of bridge. So a man, that's when he's judged. And where's the gesher v'suloi? A man is only judged by a bris. The Gemara says emeke and gesher. It means no, even other things. Anytime that a person puts himself into some kind of danger, up in Shemaim they're judging him. So now Gemara says a couple of very interesting things. Rav wouldn't go on a river, across the river on a boat. Mavra is a boat when there was an Ovid Avodah Zarah. He said Dilma because since he's an Ovid Avodah Zarah, so maybe he's being judged. Mitzvasin Badei, and so what's going to happen? They're going to sink the whole ship because of him, and I won't have the zechusim to be saved. Shmuel did the exact opposite. He would not go on a ship unless there was a guy on it. Why? Amar sitna betray because Satan can only take care of one guy at a time. So he's not going to drown me if he's in the middle of drowning the Ovid Abadizar, the guy. Rabbi Yanai took a middle position. He said, let me check the boat, let me see if it's a safe boat, and then I'm going to go on it. Morah says, where did Rabbi Yanai get this from? They didn't agree with either Rav or Shmuel. Morah says, Rabbi Yanai l'tamei, the Amar, because he said, a person should never go into a dangerous place. This is a very interesting halacha, Rabbi say. People always ask me, like let's say they want for fun to go skydiving. So I tell them, what do you got to put yourself into danger? My mamish tell them, this is Shabbos32 Bais. So they say, what do you mean? Statistics say more people die in car accidents than in, skydiving. And a chanami, because in a car, so that's a normal thing these days. So Rabbi Shalom's not looking with a microscope at every guy that's driving a car, because that's olam kamin hagenai. You're allowed to do normal things, but normal people, most regular people don't jump out of planes. If you're tzadchan in the Israeli army, you have a right to do it, but stamazah, you don't have a right to do it. So Loimar, so he said, a person can't say, do a nace for me. I'm gonna jump out of the plane and everything's gonna be fine. Wait a minute.
How far
What?
do you take that you cite with doing things that are out of the ordinary? I mean, people go skiing, people go boating, people go.
Right. So, but something, there's like a level. There's a level. So, Marshall, skiing, less people die at skiing, I assume. But I'm wrong. I'm not
called
sure.
an extreme sport for a reason. The word extreme is connected to the sport that by nature makes it extreme. People go skiing, they don't go skydiving.
Helicopters.
Yeah. Okay. But like Lamashal,
A car, you have to take a car. You have to drive. You have to go across the street.
Right. And not only that, but the Gemara is a different Gemara that says that in the olden days, everybody that went out in the time of Chazal on a trip, they took their lives in their danger. So Gemara says, how could you put your life in danger? Teretz says that for Panos, you're allowed to have a little bit of danger, but not a lot, not unnecessary danger. So this is it may even be like a personal, decision. It's a little bit subjective because one guy's danger is the other guy's fun. But still, you're not allowed to just do things for fun. Can you go on a safari? A regular safari where everything is covered is fun. But it's time to go into the field and, let me see if I can touch the lion without him eating me. That's not such a smart thing to do. Okay.
It also depends on your personal abilities and expertise. If you're a great swimmer, you can go deep diving. If you're a great skier and a good athlete.
It could be. But I remember there's a famous guy, the crocodile guy. If you remember him, he got killed underwater, I forgot what stung him, a stingray or something or other, right? And he was rugged, so take a desk job, Okay. Amrachan and Micro, what's the pasuk? Now, I think I mentioned this, but it's a very interesting thing to know. When it says crow without a hay, Kuf Reish Aleph, it means, what does this pasuk mean? And now I'll tell you. When it says my kiro, it means we just learned something, and how does this pasuk illustrate what we just learned? So now this is the following. I'm sorry, I left out a word. So let's say even if a guy has a miracle done for him, he loses the chuyas. So every one of us has a finite number of zechuyas. So let's say you take a guy who's a millionaire, a billionaire in zechusim, but he goes out every night jumping from a plane, and then the next day he says something else. So eventually he loses all of his zechusim. So Morah says, how do we know this? Even Yaakov Avinu, who's a tremendous tzaddik, the Bechir Sheba'avis, the Shalim, Yaakov Shalim, the holiest of all the others. And what did he say? I give out. You saved me from Esav. I'm losing zechusim left and right. There's a whole big Rambam on this and a Ramban. Okay, I'm just mentioning quickly. Reb Zera, B'yoyim Deshuta, Reb Zera, on a very, very windy day, a south wind, which is considered to be dangerous, loy nafik l'bein adikla. So he didn't go out amongst the palm trees because one of them could be blown down, and it was he considered to be dangerous. He didn't even take a walk on such a day. Yehudah. So now here, this is mamish the corona maisa. So a person should daven, he shouldn't get sick. Shem yachlu, because if he becomes sick, so what do they say up in Shemaim about him? They say, Have zechus vehi pater. Bring a zechus. In other words, the onus is now on you that you should have a zechus. If you have a zechus, okay, we'll let you go. But if you don't have a zechus, so like in the last 2 weeks or whatever it is. So everybody knows that we've tried to keep people out of the hospital, and sometimes these were mamish like life and death decisions. And I got calls that I always I shudder when I get such a call. In better times, so we call up, Reb David Feinstein before his father, Reb Moshe Feinstein, and they take care of these things. But these days, every Rav these days has been making these life or death decisions. So one of the reasons that we have to look at the situation is as follows, because sometimes, let's say somebody is on a ventilator already, is on a respirator. So now there's terrible statistics, right now with coronavirus, of people that are on. It's hard to get off. So we say, wait a minute, let's try to keep him off. And I've helped Baruch Hashem to keep a couple of people off ventilators. Now, Maruk said,
yeah, I just got a text actually a minute ago. My boss they were thinking about taking him to the hospital. He stayed home, oxygen. He held on, and Baruch Hashem, now he's a little better.
Gewaldig. He should have a full shalem and mamish. So my korah. So again, how do we prove that about what we just said about zechus v'pater from the following pasuk? It says ki yipoel hanoifel mimenu. So what was the case over here? So the case was that you should make a makar legagecha. You should put up something that's like around your roof that nobody should fall off, because a person might fall off. Wasn't keep it's redundant. So Morah explains mimenu lahavi raya, because if he's already falling off, so now up in Shemaim, what are they saying? Okay, we say, okay, all the malachim. We'll see in a minute what all the malachim are talking about. Bring a raya that this guy gets saved and he doesn't get killed. We learn Rabbi Shmuel. So he learned a little bit differently. This is my pillar that this guy, when he was created, Baruch Hu saw thousands of years before when he's going to fall. Because he has not yet fallen, right? Because of nightfall. And the pasuk says that he's falling. What's the pshat? How could you call him a nightfall if he didn't fall yet? If a person has a chusim, so he has a chusim, he'll be okay. But a person who is already a chayiv means over here, I don't want to say anything. We got to be very, very careful. People that don't have such great zechusim, they have to be very, very careful about not putting themselves in danger. So again, corona, nebach le'olenu, a person that got very sick, and he's close to death. So people tell him, Isvada, you should say vidui. I just told somebody to say vidui with a relative, even though it was on the phone. They couldn't go to the hospital, and they put the phone near the nifter, who was talking nifter. So Shekain Kol HaMumsim is Vadin, because when they take a guy out to execute him, so the halacha was that he has to say vidui. If he doesn't want to say vidui, what are you going to do to him? Execute him? The guy's being executed anyway. But we tell him that this is for your own benefit. If you don't want to say vidui, don't say vidui. But that could save you neshama. It's not going to save you, because the guy that's saying vidui, nobody's coming on a white horse to save him. And, there's no nace that's going to save him. But on the other hand, up in Shemayim, if he says vidui, so you could have a kapara. Adam Yaitz L'Shuk. Now this is the Gemara gives us some advice. So if a person is just taking a little walk, there's nothing wrong. He's going shopping, right? So he should imagine that he's being given over to the Roman court. The Roman court was a very, very corrupt court, and a person could get killed. So what does it mean? That if we make believe, this is all make believe, but if we take it as a a substitute. It's not like a play. What we're doing is we're saying, "Oy Gewalt, I'm being judged. I'm going to do tshuva. I'm going to go give some tzedakah. I'm going to learn some Torah. I'm going to improve my midas." So that goes in place of. He took a walk. He went shopping. It's in place of being in the Roman courts. Chosh b'rosh. Let's say a guy just has a headache. Happens to everybody, right? Yidayim b'enu commission is nisanu b'kola should make believe he was put in chains. But let's say that he's so sick that he's got to go to bed, which, by the way, is usually the amount of sickness that a person needs on a Shabbos or Yom Tov to take medicine. So you should imagine, this is like we're getting worse and worse, you understand? It's imagine that he is on a scaffold and he's going to be hung, because because anybody that is taken up to a scaffold, so to the gallows, so he's in trouble, and he could very, very, very well die. Now, here's where we get some real chizuk, Rabbi say. So if he has a lot of good defense attorneys, that means all of his mitzvahs and Torah, so he'll be saved. So who takes care of us? So now the Gemara is going to say how powerful a little bit of Torah, a little bit of mitzvahs is. Let's say even if chas v'shalom, a person has like this 999 prosecutors are talking badly about him. And only one of the malachim saying, "Oh, what are you talking about? He's a good guy." So Nitzel is going to be saved because the midah taiva is meruba midas puranis. V'yeshul malach me'elef echad minei elef. And let's say he has 1 out of 1,000 lahagnu l'adam yashroi. So then it says in the pasuk that will say that he's a righteous person. So if yichunenu, so then Hakadosh Baruch Hu will save him. And he's going to say, save this guy from the grave. So now, what do we see from this pasuk? So Rebbe Eliezer says even more than this. Rebbe Eliezer ben Eshol I feel let's say there's one malach that has 999 prosecutorial proofs. In other words, this guy, let's say he's a ganef, and let's say he's a gazlan, let's say he's a ritzeach. He's a very bad guy, and he spoke lashon hara every day of his life. So now he says 999 terrible things about him, and then the echad l'schos nitzel. So now that means like this: there's 999 malachim against him, and even one of them says 999 bad things. So and there's one guy. That's the next pasuk. There's only one defense attorney up in Shemayim, so then he's going to be saved. Now, Tanar Rabbanim will learn a Brisa. Now we're going back. That's what I'm going to learn with you, the Reb Moshe. So there's 3 averis for which women die while giving birth. Not yoldois. He says that they die young, not necessarily in childbirth. So it's when they're washing the children's schmutz off, the babies, on Shabbos. So that's not a bad thing for a woman to do, but she's not supposed to do it on Shabbos. That's malabin. It's one of the lamites of malachas. Others say they call the Aron Kodesh stamba box. Now we'll soon see that something that's very negaya us. Tani will learn a rice or even though they're Amaratzim and they could claim that they were ignorant to come up in Shemayim, but there's certain things that even the Gemara says that even ignorant people are supposed to know. Al Shakar Aron HaKodesh Arna, like we said, that they call the Aron Kodesh instead of saying Aron Kodesh, it's just another box, another Aron. It's like a closet. This is very, very important. They call a Bais HaKnesses a Bais On. It's just like a JCC. I mean, that's not what it is. It's just like a Y. That's where people get together. So Mefarshim say that if people come to shul just to shmooze, we're not in shul, right? So so that's why loyalenu. I don't want to say the end. We heard it already. Tani we learned the rice. Rabbi Yossi says there are 3 things we said that they they check a woman out to make sure that she's not an avaryonis, that she didn't do averis. There are three things that bring her to death. And there's need of a chalawad lokus on there. So these are the three things that we've been talking about all along. So Gemara says Chad Rebel Yazer. So now one of these follows Rebel Yazer, and one of them follows the Rabbana. So which is which? So if you look at Rashi's Masber, very simply like this, is that Rebbe Lazu said that it's an early age, but it's not necessarily when they give birth. So that's why that they check to see if a woman is shaykh to death. But the other one, Yoldus, so Yoldus is that this is something that brings a woman to death because she's already in danger.
Rabbi, avaryanim, like we say by Kol Nidre, that's like a stronger term for a sinner? Is it like the strongest term, like someone who's
and avaryan comes from the word avera. They did an avera, and avera has always been bemazed. And sometimes the other word, like let's say peshia, could be also bemazed, but it's a lower level than avaryan. So I just want to bring in before we go to the next, and we're going to go now, obviously to Ahmed Bais in a minute. But I wanted to just learn this Reb Moshe. Reb Moshe says an extraordinary thing. He says, and this is a very big chizuk for the women. He says, a man, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, somebody asked Reb Moshe if it's mutter lahagdim leila regila. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is in your Yehudah Chelek Beis, like I said before, Siman Ayin Dal. Very important shaila. Can you hasten what they call today to give a woman pitocin, for instance, and to bring about an early labor? So they asked Reb Moshe. So Reb Moshe says it's us. Why? Says Leda by itself, says Reb Moshe, is not a sakana. It's only a sakana for a woman because she has averis. So she has averis. The averis is sakana. So we said in the Gemara that if she's already in a shas of a bad, it could be a danger, so they'll put a danger on her. But Reb Moshe says it's not bad, some danger. So he says, and second of all, Kadosh Baruch Hu tziva b'chiyav esa lo hilid banim v'lo mistabish yitzavah lahachnis likadis b'sakana b'shul kiyam esa shel piri v'rivya. So Reb Moshe says it doesn't make sense that there would be let's say here's a mitzvah like every mitzvah. You shackle a lulav, are you in danger? You put tefillin, are you in danger? So he says it can't be. But he says that what it is sheyesh nashim shemeses b'shas lidos nashim hamachuyavais. That's what we said before. Einish alav einesem. So Reb Moshe says that's why you're not allowed to hasten the labor unless there's a medical reason. So Reb Moshe says at the end, l'chein osel lasis tachbulos lagdim leida. So if the doctor says that you have to give you pitocin because the child is in danger or the mother is in danger, the blood pressure is dropping, or all these things that a child can have, the umbilical cord is wrapped around the neck, whatever it is. So then you have to hasten to get the baby out. Avada. That's a part of the system. But I have occasionally had where a woman has like 3 doctors on the team. She has 3 OBGYNs. They usually, rotate. And one guy, the one that she likes the best, he's going on vacation when she's due. So she wants him to be the OBGYN. And she says, okay, let's hurry it up. I said, I can't do that. I mean, you want to do it, do what you want, but I can't be a part of it because of this Gemara, this psak of Reb Moshe. Mamish Negeya. Okay, so let's finish up the Amud. So now, Tanya, we learned in a Bais, right? Yeah, we learned in Hilchas Hegdish Trumas Umaisers Hein Gufei Torah. So the halachas of Hegdish is basically karbonis, and Trumas Umaisers we know Hein Gufei Torah. These are basic halachas. The nimsuli amei aretz. But the strange thing is that they're given over to amei aretz. So what does it mean to amei aretz? So the Gemara is going to explain that. What do we say? Trumas, hegdish. Even hegdish, every amei aretz can be makdish or behema, and every amei aretz has to take off trumas and meisters, and yet they're given over to amaratzim. So the Gemara says, let's see what can go wrong. Tanya, we learned in the Bais with Nasan Aimer, if a person makes a neder, Meisa isha shalodim. So it causes his wife to die. Loyolenu shenemar. The pasuk says, so im ein luchol l'shalem. So lami yikach mishkavcha b'chad mitachtecha. So the Rebbeinu Shalom says in this pasuk. So the Rebbeinu Shalom says to us, it's a pasuk in Mishlei, that if you're not going to pay your debts, in other words, you made a promise that you're going to give something to the Beis Hamikdash or to tzedakah. So why should I take your? In other words, why should you cause that your bed is going to be taken out from under you? So that's a euphemism for wife. Rabbi said, "Bin nedar by one nedar bonim mesim k'shem ktanim." And if a person doesn't pay his nedarim loyolenu, so the children die young. Shenemar al titan spichu lachti es bisorecha. Don't cause your mouth, which is the breaking of a neder, to cause harm to your basa. That's our children. And don't say that it was just a mistake. Why should Hashem get angry at what you say? And to kill that which you made. So what does a person make? That's sons and daughters, because that's what we bring into the world. So the Rebbe Elazar, Reb Shimon said that children loyolenu die because of the Nedarim. Rabbi Yehudah seems to say different. We'll soon see a stira in Rabbi. That's because of that the parents, usually the fathers, are not learning how much they're supposed to, because women don't have to learn. So if you say because of Nedarim kedamaran, so that's what the pasuk means. That's what the pasuk says, that it's because of what you did. Where's there a pasuk for that? We don't have a pasuk for that. We only had a pasuk for a person lachli as picha, right? Picha. So that's mouth. The answer is, because it says Lashavi Casey is benechem. I had to smite your children for nothing. They didn't take Musar. So what does this mean? So this means that the parents didn't teach them to learn Torah, didn't learn Torah with them. So the parents didn't learn Torah with them, so it's a parent's fault. So it could be also from this pasuk, Lashavi Casey is benechem, Alis Keshav. Why did I hit your children? In other words, they died loyolenu because of Lashav, because of doing things that were not true, they were false. You said you're going to give and you didn't give. Let's take a look who said this. Rabbi Yehudah, I know Rabbi. In one place, Rabbi Yehudah, and the other one says and Rabbi, but they're both the same person. Rabbi Bavon Nedarim Kamar. So how could Rabbi say that it's because of Torah? So Gemara says, Basa the Shamim Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon. Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon was Rabbi's Rabbi, or actually his father was Rabbi's Rabbi, and therefore he learned it from Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon. So first he said one thing, and then he learned from Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon differently. Now, Pligi bar Reb Chi bar Abba Reb Yaisi. Now, this discussion is really machlokas amarayim. Why? Chadam abavoy mezuzah. One says that little children loyolenu die because their parents were not careful about a mezuzah. The chadam abavoy bittul Torah. So now you see that's machlokas amarayim. So Gemara says, mezuzah mikra nivdish l'fanav. We go back on the previous pasuk, and what did the pasuk say over there? Because it says that. It says tzitzis. Let's take a look if you have the whole pasuk. And then it says the parsha of tzitzis. So he says, but so that means that it goes on the previous pasuk. So we learn medrash mikra nidrish lefanav. We go back to the previous pasuk for the lifnei fanav, but not the pasuk before it. Because the previous pasuk is that it says and before that it says the pasuk about learning Torah. Now, now this thing is now going to be a machlokes tanoim. Chadam b'avoyin mezuzah, chadam b'avoyin tzitzis. Now was mishnah mandu b'avoyin mezuzah dichsev. So we learn the pasuk of Saftam mezuzah v'secha and exeb basrel ma'yibu yemechem mevenechem. Your children will live long if you do the mitzvah of mezuzah. Alamandu b'avoyin tzitzis. Where's tzitzis come into this picture? Morah says Rav Kahana v'sem Shilo Mari. It says dichsev. That was his name, Shilo Mari. The Chsiv, Kam beknafayach nimtzu dam navshei sevyonim nikiyam. So in your corners, you'll find the blood of innocent poor people. So what does this mean? So the children are innocent. They didn't do anything, and because you didn't do the mitzvah of knaf. Knaf is tzitzis, so the children are punished. Rav Nachman bar Yisrael Melamandi Omar by one mezuzah, according to one, it said that it's because the aver of mezuzah the chsiv leiba machteres mitzosim. Now this is a pasuk in Navi. The pasuk says she'osu psachim b'kamachteres. So it says that I didn't find the place by searching. Searching is like through a machteres. Machteres is a underneath, an underground, like a cave or even a tunnel. So what's the tunnel over here? So it says that the tunnel is that tunnels don't really have a mezuzah. So you made your houses into tunnels. The tunnel doesn't have a mezuzah, but a house should have a mezuzah. Amrish Lakish, if you are careful in tzitzis, so you will have, look at this, thousands, 2,800, 2,800 slaves. So what's going to happen is like this: 10 people from all of the languages in the world. So they're going to take a hold of your tzitzis, and they're going to say, we want to go with you. So what's the cheshbon over? It's a beautiful cheshbon. So Rashi brings the cheshbon that the four corners, there's going to be 10 people from each of the shivim umais. That's 700 people, and each of the 700 are going to grab the arba kanfis. So that's 700 times 4 is 2,800. So we're going to have 2,800 slaves. Not bad. If we just keep
better than the one Spanish lady that I have that quit on us already before Pesach.
Really? Or your mouth?
No, we need from Shivim Ummah. We need from all the nations, just in case.
Yeah, just in case. All right. Now, Simon, the Gemara gives a simon of the things that could go wrong. So it's Sunay, right? Challah, taking challah. Let's see what sinna means. Truma, nigzelas, things that are stolen. Dina is judgment. Shvu is an oath. Shipuchta is spilling. Let's see what we spill. Giluya is something that's revealed. And Navlusa is something disgusting. Marsa Tani, we learn a rice to Nechemia Omer. So, Ba'avoin Sinaschina for Sinaschina, Mariva Rava, so Bais Shalodom. So, a person he hates some Yid for nothing. So, he's going to end up with fights in his own household. It sounds like the Ishtoim, Mapelos Nefolim. He's going to have fights with his wife. No Shalom Bais in his house, and also he's going to have a lot of apparently loyolenu stillborns and women that have a miscarriage. Or part of his children will die young. If a woman is not careful to take challah, it could be a man also. And bracha b'mechunas. So there'll be no bracha in the grains and the fruits and the vegetables that were put away. They're all going to spoil. And there's going to be a curse in the prices. That means there'll be tremendous inflation. And even if you plant things, other people are going to get to eat them. So Shenemak, it says the Pasuk, I'll bring upon you behola. So these are different types of things that come with leolenu, fevers, and different types of lesions on the body. Mechalos and amadifas nafesh, and they cause the eyes to the souls to suffer and to long for normal times. I think we're going through that, Rabbi said. And then you will have children for nothing, and your enemies will take them away. I'll trick you beholas. It says behola el bechala because of the avera of chala. So that's the next one. The nice thing, but if they do, now we're coming to the positive. We're going to try to finish off today with the positive. The nice thing, but if people do take off challah, mizbarchim, they're going to get bracha. Shenem reishis arisosechem titnu lakayin laniya bracha beisecha. If you take off challah, you're going to get bracha in your house. Now, by vayin bittul trumas for meisus, it says that if people don't have trumas for meisus, shemaim netzor melohil tal matter. So we won't have tal matter. We're going to be benching tal again by ourselves. Unfortunately, not with the shliach tzibur. By Yoiker Hoiven, and the prices will be very, very sky high. And people will not make any profits. And they'll look for They'll look for a good job and they won't be able to get it. So these seasons, the dry season, the warm season, they will steal the waters from the snowy season. What's that mean? And they've sinned all the way down to Gehenna. Now, what does this mean? This pasuk, because things that I told you to do when the sun is shining, that means like taking off the trumas hamaisis when it's the nice season. For last season, you didn't do it then. So the waters of snow, that means snow and rain is the same thing because they both irrigate the ground. You won't really have that. Now we're going to finish off with this, then we'll just learn one little thing that's going to hopefully help us. But if they do all these things, they'll give them, say they're going to get brachos. Now this is one of the haftarahs where HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows us, be terrified Bais. So the haftarah tells us that if you put everything away in the silo and you put it away, and then and you test me. So the Rambam paskins over halacha l'maisa, as does the Ramban, that you're allowed to test HaKadosh Baruch Hu only in Meiser, in Meisrus. Normally you're not allowed to test Hashem. Oh, look at this, I did a mitzvah, so give me something. But where you're allowed to test Hashem is bracha ad b'lidai. So if you do this, you're going to get a lot of brachas. We'll see in a minute how much brachas. My ad b'lidai, until the word die. What does that mean? Amaram barav amarav. So Ram barav, Rav's son, said in his name of his father, you'll be so saturated with goodness and you'll have so many crops and so much money, you're going to say, die, it's enough, right? Which is very, very rare. Now, we'll just go a drop further and then we'll finish up. So because people steal, that means they're dishonest. So the arba come. This is mamish like from the esamakis. So the locusts will come, they'll destroy the crops. And then there'll be a hunger after that because there won't be any crops to eat. This is what it says in the Teichacha and in Eicha, the people will eat their own children, loyoleno. That means basically not so much that they'll even eat them, but they won't take care of them, won't be able to take care of them. So Shenamik Pasuk says, Shum Adov Razeh, Parais Habashan. So listen to this, the cows of Bashan. What does that mean? Which are in Shomron. You who did not take care of the poor, so you crushed the people that need tzedakah, basically. And then Rava says, so these are like the women of Mechuzah. We'll just go a drop tomorrow, we'll finish it, we'll do that Lamed Gimel. The Achlam Avdan. So they eat a lot. In other words, they eat, Rashi says, this is balei. Very, very strange thing that it says to women is that women demand too much of their husbands, and Mamela is stealing from their husbands. One shot. The top Rashi says, they're so used to eating a lot, so they cause their husbands to go out and steal. The husbands are not, they become not honest because they have to supply their wives with. It doesn't mean just food, by the way. It means with jewelry and things like that. We're in a matzav now where we reduced everything down to the basics, and maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching us a little bit of a lesson over here. Tomorrow, Mirz Hashem, we're gonna. I just wanted to maybe bring down one thing over here. I saw there was something about, because I've been saying Mishu Berachs every night for Chaylim. So one of the things they bring down over here is how to say Mishu Berach for Chaylim. Second. Yeah, here. So the Iyun Yaakov brings. It says, a person should daven, we just said, he should never get sick. And if he gets sick, so he should daven that, Kadosh Baruch Hu shouldn't be. So we say like this. It says in the Gemara Rosh Hashanah, everybody is judged on Rosh Hashanah. So this is something I do, but you don't have to do it. But I'm just telling you where I got this from. So the Munkach Rebbe, he wrote something called Chamisha Mamaris. So he brings the name of his grandfather, the Darkei Tshuva. I'm saying it after the way he said it. She'ezir b'lashon Hamisha beirach she'oisen l'chayla yoimru hu yivarach v'rapes ha'chayla. You shouldn't even say the word chayla. So as soon as we say in a tefillah the word chayla, and I'm telling you, I learned this from a number of gedolim, but it seems to come from the old Monkacher Rebbe, that you should never say the word chayla in a tefillah. So, for instance, I've been davening for various chaylim, and even on the so-called chats that we do with the Rabban and the conferences, for some reason I ended up saying the Tehillim, and we've been saying for Rabbi Ginsburg's own saying stark. So every night, so first of all, we kept the halacha that there's no titles. We don't say Harav, and we added his name, which is Chaim Aryeh Zev Ben Edel. So you should have a refuah shalema. But we're also very, very careful, at least I was very careful, not to say hu yirape es ha'chayla. Because it said over here, we learned from the Munkacher, from our Gemara today, if you say the word chayla in a tefillah, you're mamish doing him a disservice. He's a chayla. You don't have to say it. Don't say it. He's struggling and he's got a problem. If you say the word chayla, now you're putting the onus on him up in Shemayim or his malachim to defend him. So that's not good for anybody, even the biggest tzaddikim, the biggest gedolei Yisrael.
Is that why by kill children they don't say the name sometimes?
Why? Where don't we say the name? Like by what? By a mishaberach?
Child is sick. They don't give out the name sometimes because they don't want to.
I don't think that's this. This is just not to say chayla, but we do say the name. We do say the name. I'm not sure about that. What that means, because the name is very important. I don't know about that, but I can't hear. Say it again.
Is this all the same as Al Tiftach Pelu Satan?
Oh, it's a little bit like that, right? Al Tiftach Pelu Satan. Abel's right, by the way. Rabbi said you can see him, and maybe you can't. But Al Tiftach Pelu Satan means you should be very careful not to make things worse. It's the same thing. Don't give the Satan ammunition. And over here, this whole Gemara was about that thing, ammunition. That if up in Shemayim, like you give him, you say, this guy is such a so and so, but the Rebbeinu Shalom save him anyway. That's not a good thing. You just mention the good, not the bad. But nobody would say a bad thing about a guy when he's struggling like this. But what a person would say is chayla. And I know a lot of people say chayla, but the Munkacher Rebbe says not to. I learned this from other gedolei Yisrael that I was able to learn from. And kimat, I never say chayla. Mishaberach Aviseinu Avram Jiyavu Yivarech Es, and then you say the name. So since we're davening for a lot of chaylim right now, so I think it's kedai because we just learned the daf to follow the Munkacher Rebbe. Just say the name, and all the chaylim should have a refuah shalem and Meretz Hashem. But Bais, don't forget, if you didn't, maybe you did already. So do b'dikas chametz tonight. Put away the 10 pieces for not burning tomorrow, for putting into the toilet and throwing it away. I do want to stress, though, that there's nothing wrong with putting it into a grill. If you're not going to use the grill for Yom Tov, it's fine. So then you can make a fire because, even the Goyim are barbecuing now. It's not a Chil Hashem.
That's okay. That's even a lechatchila. That's no problem.
That's a lechatchila. Yes, that's a lechatchila. Because let's say even if the city would come and say, "What are you doing?"
Look like.
Yeah, I'm in my barbecue, a grill. What do you mean? It's a minig, minig olam.
And what about putting in your backyard and a little thing in the corner and a little?
No. I'm sorry. We're trying to avoid that.
It's better
in the grill, or break it up and put it in the toilet and flush it and then
I
go
had
outside
a bad experience with my pipe, so I don't want to risk it. So you're saying the barbecue just till it's black and that's it?
Yeah, blacken it. That's all.
I can soak it on the grill with the lulav. No, I can still poke it on the grill with the lulav and toss it.
You want to poke it with your lulav? Yeah, fine. That's okay.
I saved it for a whole year.
Yeah. Okay, you can
do it.
Mentioned
we're bringing everything.